What's good, folks? We back. Today, we're gonna be talking about something that I'm kinda surprised they ain't talked about yet, but we talking about the most brutal decisions that you could make in The Walking Dead. Now, if you made some of these decisions, I'm kinda questioning you a bit, because you might be a little crazy. But, the first thing I want to talk about is helping Kenny kill Larry. Now listen, Larry, he is I wouldn't say a bad person. Well, I don't like him at all, though. You know, there's always was some beef with Larry. You might have wanted to get him out earlier. But at that moment, it's kind of messed up because this man, he having a heart attack and his daughter right there beside him. And to help Kenny, you really got to pull Lily off of Larry so he could smash his head with a salt lick. In a way, you kind of forcing Lily to watch her dad get his head popped by a salt lick. And I feel like that's kind of insane. And listen, even if you hate Larry, it's kind of crazy. I do understand where Kenny was coming from, but at the same time, it might have been a little bit overboard. Now, the next decision I think is extremely brutal, but there ain't no good outcomes for it. It's killing Lee or letting them turn. Because, listen, on the one hand, you kill Lee, you gotta always, listen, Clementine gotta always live with that, knowing that she shot the person who took care of her. Or she gotta live with letting them turn and he's just there being a walker tied up to the heater forever. Now, personally, I think the most brutal choice out of that would probably be letting them turn into a walker. But, you know, that could just be speculation. But I think being a walker would be a terrible thing. And being tied up to the heater probably just make it worse. So I gotta say, the most brutal option there, probably letting Lee turn. But honestly, there's no good outcomes here. And either way, Clementine, she gonna be traumatized by either or. Now, another thing that I want to talk about, listen, this one, it is brutal, but at the same time, I think it's the peak moment of The Walking Dead. We talking about you raising AJ, you taught him right and wrong, and finally, you get a chance to kill Lily. You either let Lily, hey, you already know. Either you experience the greatest scene in the game and you let AJ go off on Lily and unleash half a clip in her, or you gotta watch Lily get up, kill James, which is kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie, I don't like James, so you know, I'm not too mad at that. But at the same time, the reason this choice is so brutal, because AJ, he's still so young, and for him to be doing that, it is messed up. But hey, it's still the best part of the game to me, so you can say what you want. I made that choice. I'm not even gonna lie. Now, the next thing I want to talk about, that's also a pretty brutal decision. The next brutal decision that I want to talk about, it gotta be shooting Kenny or letting them kill Jane. Now, there ain't no winning here. I'm not gonna lie, there ain't no winning. But I feel like the most brutal thing would be for you to intervene in the fight even more than you already have and end up killing Kenny. Because this is what I thought about when I was in that position. When you're in that position, you know, Clementine, she already scared, and it puts Clementine in a bad spot because she either gonna have to kill Kenny, another person who really cared about her, or she gonna have to watch this man kill Jane. And I feel like it's kind of a lose-lose situation. But I feel like the most brutal thing would be for Clementine to shoot Kenny. Cause that's like Lee on steroids. Cause Lee, he was at his last moment. So I feel like it was a mercy thing. But Kenny, this man's still alive. He not finna turn or nothing. And for you to just shoot him like that, I know you saving Jane. But at the same time, I feel like that's more brutal. I feel like that's the more brutal option. Cause Clementine is essentially taking her life. And it's not Kenny that's taking her life, it's legit just Clementine. So, I gotta say that gotta be on the list. Another thing that's really messed up, it gotta be leaving Sarah behind. Listen, I know a lot of people don't like Sarah. I still feel like it's not her fault, because, you know, Sarah a little fragile. Her dad, her pops died not too long ago. I feel like she needed a little bit of help. Cause listen, that backhand you gave her, that backhand really reminded her of her father, and it kind of woke her up from the little slumps he was in. Now listen, I know some people, they probably left her in the dust, said I gotta get up out of here, and then you started to watch her get eaten, which is kind of messed up. But I will say, leaving her behind in that trailer, that gotta be one of the most brutal things you could do. Next thing I want to talk about, this one, it really revolves more around AJ than Clementine. But it gotta be his choice that he makes at the end, where either he shoots Violet or Luis, or he shoots his best friend in 10. Now, in a way you are responsible for this, but just putting yourself in AJ's shoes, it is a crazy decision to make. Because on the one hand, he losing his best friend in 10, and it's kind of sad. And on the other hand, Violet or Luis, they get packed up because you didn't trust AJ. And I feel like not trusting AJ, it might be more brutal than anything else. Because, listen, yes, he keep his friend in 10, but either Luis or Violet, they end up dying. And then at the end of the day, Clementine doesn't trust AJ, which is kind of like, I feel like that does something to your mental when someone you care about a lot doesn't even trust you. So I gotta say, most brutal decision, it gotta be not trusting AJ because of what it leads to down the line. Now this one, hey, if I ain't have this on the list, it wasn't gonna be a complete list. We talking about shooting Sam the dog. Listen, I'm not talking about shooting him though. You got the choice that when you kick Sam off, you could, listen, hey, I know there are a lot of people who love dogs. I like dogs too, but big ass dog biting me, I'm gonna knock his ass out. But I gotta say, I understand, you know, Sam, he did betray you a bit. He did want them beans, so he tried to eat them all, then he got a little bit greedy. Clementine kicks him, he land on some spikes. He yelping, he sounds sad, he dying out, he bleeding out. If you left that dog to die, what the hell wrong with you? I'll be honest, bro. The dog, yes, the dog did attack you, but I feel like you should have mercy killed the dog. And listen, now I think about it, I remember you don't actually shoot the dog. You kind of just give him a mercy kill with that knife. But at the same time, bruh, why would you leave a dog lying there? You're a real demon if you do that. Listen, I could kind of understand Larry because Larry, he was such a terrible person to you. So I kind of get it. But with Sam the dog, nah, you going too far. You going too far. You doing too much right now. Sam the dog didn't deserve that. But next thing I want to talk about, another brutal decision. I gotta say, it's when Kenny is going through so much and Katja just died and Duck just died. And for you to just be like, nah, Kenny, you got that. I'm up out of here. I feel like that's, man, I can't even describe that. But, you know, that man Kenny, he don't want his son to be a walker. Kind of like how most folks didn't want Lee to be a walker. And for you to be like, nah, you got that, Kenny, that's kind of messed up. I'm not gonna lie, that's also a brutal one. Is it more messed up than the dog? It's not more messed up than the dog, but it's still really messed up. So I gotta put that on the list. Another thing I want to talk about, gotta be abandoning Ben. Listen, I know. This one, I could see the vision. I might have did it in one of my playthroughs. Because, listen, Ben, he caused a lot of people to die. But I gotta say, during that time where he's on the bell, and you can either choose to help him or let him fall, that's kind of a messed up situation to really let Ben fall and die right there. Because that man, Ben, he didn't mean to do it, in a way. I mean, listen, he didn't know it was going to escalate like that. So I think abandoning that man, letting that man fall to his death, is really messed up. So I gotta say, that gotta be on the list. Listen, if you like the video, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you wanna. And listen, I got a lot of Walking Dead videos made, so if you wanna check them out, hey, click that little video right there. I don't know where it's gonna be at, but it's gonna be somewhere. And by the way, I'm gonna do a little test with some stuff, and we're gonna try out new games. So if you're interested, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you wanna, and we out. It's all still rains. Hit the subscribe and leave a like. Oh,